The following program is paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Fresno on 105.9 The FM KMJ. Now, live in studio, your host, local real estate expert, Craig Barton.
Good morning, Central Valley. I am your host, Craig Barton, and welcome to the Real Estate Radio Network, the most important hour of radio each week here on 105.9 The FM KMJ. Real Estate Radio is a show dedicated to bringing some rational thought to the crazy world that we live in and helping you to rebuild the Central Valley's housing and credit markets. Within every market, there are solutions as well as tremendous opportunities. You just need some trusted advice, and that's exactly what you're going to hear every Sunday morning from 7 to 8 a.m. right here on 105.9 The FM KMJ. Thanks so much for joining us. Good morning, Michelle.
Good morning, Craig.
You've got that confused look on your face. What?
Well...
Too early for you?
No, it's not too early. It's perfect timing. I'm up. I'm awake. I've got a big, big day ahead of me.
Atta girl.
I'm just looking at our notes.
Oh, you're just looking ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Quit cheating, would you?
I'm sorry. Yeah, no.
Wow.
I actually wanted to make sure I was prepared.
At least you're not on your phone and not paying attention.
No, I already did that. I tweeted a picture of John.
As always, it is so good to have our special guest host, that voice that you hear. That's Michelle Pettiscavalli from Valleywide Homes.
Thanks for having me, Craig.
Awesome. Always great to have you here. Michelle is a licensed real estate professional and a trusted friend. Oh, my gosh. I wanted to say professional.
Are you getting ready to call me names again?
No, I was not.
All right, good.
Thanks so much for being here. Well, the Real Estate Radio Network gives us, Michelle and I, the opportunity to reach so many people efficiently for one full hour each and every week. Our goal with the Real Estate Radio Network is to get you, our listeners, the timely and accurate truth about your local real estate market, so we can help bring you
back home.
You are swinging for the fence. I love it. And I mean that. So we can help bring you back home. Exactly. Well, I'm extremely excited about today's show. We've got a lot of information to cover. We're going to take a look at, first off, some of the hot stories in the news. And there's a lot of information to cover. It's amazing because, once again, we are witnessing history every single day here in the Central Valley. It's not just the national stuff. It's the stuff here that makes the news as well. And also, if you're a buyer or a seller in today's market, we're also going to take a look at what to expect when you're expecting an escrow to close in 30 days.
I was like, don't look at me, because that's not happening.
We're also going to take a closer look at more listener questions. And honestly, listeners, keep it up, because the listener questions are really, really good. It's really hard, it's really difficult to determine how to pare it down to 3 or 4 questions.
It is.
Yeah.
There's some great questions coming in, though. It's great for us to be able to see those, because then we know what the public wants to know about.
Sure.
So if you have questions, please do send them in.
Most definitely. Make sure that you stay with us. If you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or questions regarding the information that you hear on our show, call us anytime on our off-air number at 800-979-3958. We'd so love to hear from you. You can also check out our resources online, and you can listen to past shows from the Real Estate Radio Network on YouTube by going to our website at REOFresnoHomes.com. To friend us on Facebook, use press 4 keywords.
Friend Valleywide on Facebook.
Or use press 4 keyword
KMJ, call Valleywide.
to call into our show anytime. We'd so love to hear from you. Well, you heard us mention press 4, and I'm not going to put it all on you today. Michelle says, I just finally realized we sat down right before the show, and you're going to make me talk about press 4.
Well, it's not that I have a problem talking about press 4. I just don't want it to become repetitive. That's all. So
You want to keep it lively and fresh.
Exactly.
Okay, well, press 4. Last weekend I stopped everyone and said, okay, have you downloaded Press 4? Press 4 is our way to help keep you in the know. All you need to do is go to press4.com. That's PRESS, the number 4.com. Sign up, or go to your app store. Sign up, download the app, sign up, and it helps us push information, timely and accurate information about your local real estate market to you, whatever it is that we feature. It helps us connect you to the information that we're trying to share.
And one of the things I would say, highlight, it's a free app. So everybody
free.
who has a smartphone we all play with apps that are free just to check them out. Sometimes I want everybody to load this one just so they can check it out. So homework this week, load Press 4. Secondarily, next week, we'll have something that you can press forward to us to let us know that you did your homework, okay?
Oh, hey, there you go.
I like it. I'm
So
like,
it's
we
the
got to
press
make
forward
something.
check-in.
Yeah, because I want to know who's done their homework. That's all. That's all.
So when you touch on your smartphone, you go to the screen, you touch the little orange 4, you touch it, it's going to ask for your keywords. You say the keywords like KMJ, Call Valleywide.
But they can't do that if they don't load it. And the homework is to load it.
Yes, got to load it.
Gotta load
but then what it will do is it will actually help you to call in to Valleywide, call into the show. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with those questions and whatnot. So, you know what? We get a lot of calls on the 800 number. I'm just really curious. I want to see how many folks load that. So they could do the Press 4
So that's a challenge for this week.
That's right. That's
Load the Press 4 app, set it up, and we'll contact Greg Stebbin, the CEO of Press 4. He'll tell us.
And if they need a little short workshop on it, I'm happy to.
You're happy to help?
Yeah, because I have an open house with one of our hot properties this afternoon.
Fantastic. Well, let's talk about today's hot property. Today's hot property is 5958 East Via Merlago Drive, Fresno, California, 93727. This particular property, this is a Granville. It's a cute little gated community out in Sunnyside. Easiest way to get there, 41 south to 180 east. Going through the gyrations in my head.
I see you looking at the brain like, how do I take that?
And then take the Fowler Avenue exit and just go south until you pass church. And there is there's two Granville developments down there. There's a gated development. This particular property is located within that development. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,663 square feet, built in 2009, located in this gated community in Sunnyside. It is Sanger Unified Schools. The property has been appraised for $163,000. Eligible only for owner occupants right at the moment. There is a homeowners association.
Okay.
Cost of the association is $67 a month. The bidding deadline is daily at 11:59 Central Standard Time. And that appraisal already being done will save you $400 to $450 if you're looking for an owner-occupied property and you're utilizing FHA financing.
That's a really new house.
Yeah, it is. And it's super nice. It really, really is cool. Now, Michelle, we've got a second hot property on today's show. Why don't you go ahead and tell us about it?
We have listed this week 2371 North Hayes, which is a 2.5-acre parcel out at McKinley and Hayes, 93723, $289,000. And let me just tell you, if anybody is curious about this property, please come see me this afternoon, 1 to 4. I will be there at 2371 North Hayes. It's $289,000, 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath. I'm going to tell you right now, Craig.
How many square feet?
The house itself is 1627, but it also has a mobile on the property that's been rented out for years and years, and they keep it rented. But this property is probably the most gorgeous.
It looks like a presidential
yard
palace from the photos.
And it has a pool and a shed and a workshop and all these extra features. But really, the greenery and the privacy on this property is just phenomenal. So I can't wait for people to come out and take a look at it.
So if you want your own little oasis.
It is.
2.5 acres with a pool.
Oh, yeah, it's just gorgeous. The entire 2.5 acres has water running to it, so you can plant and make a garden. You can use it for horses, whatever you like. But it is a gorgeous property. So we'll be there today.
From 1 to 4.
From 1 to 4. So if they need help with Press 4, I'll also.
Yeah. You're also
I figure
to
I'll
help
do
with
sessions on that on the side.
There you go.
We'll just kill 2 birds with 1 stone out there today.
Fantastic.
Come see my property, come do Press 4.
Awesome. Well, if you'd like more information about today's hot properties, please give us a call anytime on our off-air number at 800-979-3958 or use Press 4 keyword KMJ Hot Property. And we'll send you more information about these hot properties right to your phone. Look for more hot properties each week right here on the Real Estate Radio Network. Michelle, let's talk real quick about finding your new home. Probably the most challenging thing. And I tell you what, I cannot, I shouldn't say I cannot. Every single week, it seems like there is a new buyer that I'm working with that, out of habit, will continue to search, continue to look.
I'm like,
on
your
the
habit
internet.
or theirs?
No,
I'm
it's
trying to
their.
figure out if it was a bad habit or.
Of course, I have no.
No bad habits. Okay, so they continue to search. I'm sorry, catch me up. They continue to search.
They continue to search. There's a retraining process, I think, and even when you try to retrain, in order to help. My goal is to help buyers be more efficient as far as the home finding process.
Right.
Once you've gotten pre-approved, once you have found a trusted local professional to work with, the next part of the equation, especially, and it doesn't change, but the next part of the equation, especially in today's competitive market, you need to be armed with all of those hot tips that help you to get out there and search efficiently. Another example, I received an email early this morning from a client, said, hey, would you check this one particular property one more time? We found on Movoto that it was showing that it was back on the market as of 7/2011. And I'm thinking to myself,
2011, do they realize that's a year ago?
That's a year ago, yeah. And that's the first question that I'm asking myself is, do you realize
what you just said? Yeah,
what you just typed.
Yeah.
It is a year ago. And I just told them that property sold January 2012.
Right.
And it's not active. There's nothing. My point is this. You scour the internet for listings. And the unfortunate thing is that the information that's pushed out to the internet is an imprint. And that imprint,
snapshot time.
Did that make it kind of go off in your mind?
No, I just think there's a couple different situations where that's the case in what we're talking about today. And a snapshot in time is a snapshot in time.
Well, it's like, think of it when you were growing up.
The second after, it's no longer valid.
Exactly. Think of it when you were growing up. Mom and Dad took a Polaroid. The little Polaroid comes out. They'd shake it around and get that sucker to dry. And that is a snapshot in time. And that's exactly what I mean by that. That information's pushed out to the internet.
Right.
And it's, again, just a snapshot. The search can be overwhelming. And if you're a buyer out there and you're searching for a property right at the moment, hopefully you do, and you've done this for more than 60 days, hopefully you have that perspective. There's only so many hours in the day. There's only so much time that you have for going out and really searching for a property. Well, there really is an easier way. We're not trying to push just this particular service that any local real estate professional can set up for you. It's called a web portal. Setting up a web portal helps us, based upon the criteria that you tell us, set up the perfect search, or as perfect as you tell us.
Right.
Set up a perfect search for your new home based upon square footage, location, neighborhood, amenities, 2-story, single-story, bed, bath count, whatever it might be. Let's say it's capped by, hey, we don't want to spend anything more than $175,000. We can set that search up for you. It will email you immediately active listings. Immediately, the moment they come on the market. And it's not, let me just say this, it is not a snapshot in time. It's not that Polaroid.
No, it's live.
It is live. So you
time.
can be, exactly, it is real time. And you can be sitting there and watching that portal. And you log out, you go have dinner with your family, you come back, and you look at your portal again, and that particular property is currently showing that it's gone pending.
Right. Right. It's real time.
It is real time.
Right.
Whereas that buyer that I was talking about this morning that I got that email from, it was not real time.
No.
This was an imprint that had gone out to the web July of last year, a year ago. And that's the unfortunate thing about all those what we call syndications. As the data is pushed out, it's not always going to be active and up to date.
Right.
So,
well, and the one thing I would say also to buyers, if the portal isn't giving you what you need or a volume of what you need, there may be some tweaking that needs to be done, and
totally
that's a
agree.
communication and conversation with your agent.
It's not one and done.
Right.
It's not
we
one
can
and done.
adjust it at any time. And we've had people who say, maybe I should widen my search just based on the volume of houses available. And sometimes you do need to do that just to see what else is out there, or expand on your price range, or maybe you don't have to have 3 bathrooms, etc.
Or smaller square footage, or higher sales price, or
exactly.
Or
so we can adjust that.
Adding a different zip code. You're totally right.
Yeah. So versus wasting everyone's time on old information, let's just tweak the correct, good, new information you're getting.
Correct. And the only way you can do that is sign up with a real estate professional. And I say sign up with a real estate professional. Start working with a real estate professional from your local association that has access to the multiple listing searches. They can go in. They can set up a web portal just for you.
Right.
For more information about setting up your very own web portal, call us anytime on our off-air number at 800-979-3958. And Michelle would be happy to tweak it
yet. I'm going to tweak it.
You're going to tweak it until you find the right property. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions or questions regarding the information that you hear on our show, call us anytime on our off-air number at 800-979-3958. Again, we'd love to hear from you. You can also check out our resources online, and you can listen to past shows from the Real Estate Radio Network on YouTube by going to our website at reofresnohomes.com. To friend us on Facebook, use press 4 keywords.
Friend Valley White on Facebook.
Or use press 4 keyword.
KMJ, call Valley White.
To call us. You and me, Michelle, anytime. We'd so love to hear from you. Well, after the break, we're going to take a closer look at some of the top stories in the news. Make sure that you stay with us. You are listening to the Real Estate Radio Network here on 105.9, the FM KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Thinking about buying a home? Find out how the HUD Home Store can help you. Visit HUDHomestore.com. Look at HUD homes available for sale near you or nationwide. Why HUD Home Store? HUD will pay up to 3% of the buyer's closing cost. The price of the home is based on an FHA as-is appraisal, which is already completed, saving you an average of $400. And there is an owner-occupant priority bidding period during the first 30 days. Want to know more? Visit HUDHomestore.com.
Mortgage interest rates are at historic lows, and there's never been a more affordable time to buy real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing property, let the mortgage professionals at Valley White help. Valley White Homes has been helping homeowners with their mortgage needs since 1997. When it comes to the Valley's real estate, we know our way around the neighborhood. Call toll-free, 800-979-3958, and put the seasoned professionals at Valley White Homes to work for you. Valley White Homes, NMLS number 342062, 235-952, California Department of Real Estate License 0122-8460.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Well, after the break, we told you we were going to take a look at some of the top stories in the news, and this first story is extremely interesting. Realty Track, the website Realty Track. If you're wanting to get up to the minute information with regards to foreclosures, countywide, statewide, nationally, go to Realty Track. Some great information. Realty Track is reporting that the Visalia-Porterville area was among the top 10 metros in the nation with the highest foreclosure rates during the first half of this year of 2012, with 1 in every 49 housing units receiving a foreclosure filing. The Visalia Metro placed number 10 on the list.
Wow.
Top 10. That is really interesting.
Top 10.
Yeah, considering a total of 141,696 total housing units, that amounts to roughly 2,890 properties that were at some stage of foreclosure during the first half of the year. That's a huge number.
Well, let's clarify. That doesn't mean they went to auction. That doesn't mean they went all the way into foreclosure, but it does mean that that particular area has had some financial difficulties to cause missing payments.
Correct. A foreclosure filing, a notice of default, does not mean, you're exactly right, doesn't mean that it went to sale. It could have been cured.
Right.
Could have had some sort of modification completed by the servicer. There could have been a short sale. Something may have happened alternative to that. But just the simple fact that a foreclosure filing happens and still lets you know that the market hasn't really purged itself of a lot of the problems. 1 in 49.
That's a lot.
That's a huge number. Yeah. 6 other California metros also made the highest foreclosure list, including Stockton.
That's been a given. Oh,
yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Sorry. That's been a hot area, hot
it
button
really
area over all these issues, and I think one they're watching very closely based on the volume of foreclosures, and one that even Kate mentioned last week on UBS with UBS Financial in regards to the city and the county and how that overall is affecting everything.
Modesto, number 2.
Really?
Yeah, Modesto, number 2 on the list. Riverside, San Bernardino, Ontario, number 3. Vallejo, Fairfield. That's kind of interesting to me. That's a beautiful area up there. Number, let's see here, Merced, number 5, and Bakersfield, number 8.
You know what's interesting to me? A lot of those are farm regions, and I find it interesting just because the demographics of those regions are so diverse, and you're going to find I think what we saw during
it's
the
not
bubble,
cookie cutter. It's not black and white.
No, it's very diverse.
Yeah.
But what we saw during the bubble was a lot of people who should have waited, who weren't ready to be first-time home buyers, maybe because of the economics, jumped in.
We're afraid to. We're afraid to get left behind.
Yeah.
Certainly.
Definitely.
3 other metros on the list were Atlanta, Sandy Spring, and Marietta, Georgia, number 6. Phoenix, Mesa, Scottsdale, Arizona. My brother-in-law lives there.
See, I think that's investor-driven, I think.
Well, it's let me tell you, when you go to, my brother-in-law lives in Chandler. When you go to Chandler, out south east of Phoenix, it's really interesting because you drive out in little areas where you don't see anything for 5-8 minutes, and then all of a sudden there's this little oasis out there
of
houses out around, sitting around a shopping center, and the shopping center has a movie theater. We went to a movie theater at the shopping center to see a movie, and he goes, "Oh yeah, it's just 10 minutes down the road here," and there's like nothing until you get out this little oasis sitting out there. There was 2 people working in this movie theater, and this movie theater was huge. It made Edwards look small. I kid you not. It was really interesting. And Las Vegas, Paradise, Nevada, number 9.
Yeah. See, I think you get a lot of snowbirds and whatnot moving around. And
Yep.
Yeah.
It does state that the foreclosure activity was down just slightly, but still, to be that far on the on the list, that's amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Well, second thing, let's talk about rates. What's an indicator? I had a question from a client this week. What's a real good indicator as far as mortgage rates are concerned? We keep seeing, and Kate made mention of it. Kate Island with UBS Financial Services was in the studio with us last week for our Market Watch update. She's going to be in the studio again this week, so you're going to have to share me.
That's okay.
You're okay with that?
I'm coming to terms with it.
The therapy's working on that.
It is working.
You're going to share me. Well, quantitative easing that she talked about, that they're now talking about a QE3 to help keep interest rates artificially low. Well, long-term rates or treasury yields is what we look at in the mortgage industry. It's the best indicator of what mortgage rates are going to do. Well, as the yields on the 10-year treasury drop, we expect, it's not one-to-one, there isn't a direct correlation, but when we see the yields drop, we expect that mortgage rates are going to drop accordingly as well. So to give you an example, on an FHA 30-year fixed rate mortgage, no origination fee, no points, no discount fee, and a potentially small credit back to the buyer to help cover their closing costs and prepaids. 30-year fixed rate FHA, 3.375 this week with an APR of almost 3.6%. Boggles my mind. Who in the world? I thought back in 2003 when rates dipped below 4% and everyone's saying, "Oh, this is the lowest it's been," and so that we would ever
see this again.
Yeah,
in our lifetime.
Yeah. Oh, most definitely. Lowest. The comment was made. Lowest time or lowest point in 40 years since they've been tracking mortgage rates. Now, let's compare real quickly. Conversely, to Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, or what we call conventional rates. It's not. You might hear, well, Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac reported that mortgage rates are roughly 3.5%. It's very difficult to make it black and white in terms of what your rate would be if you were purchasing a mortgage or whether you were refinancing, because there's so many risk-based variables that go into pricing a mortgage. It's not black and white. It's not just easy to say, oh, rates are at 3.5 with an APR of 3 3/4. It doesn't work that way, especially with Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac nowadays. So interesting to note, we've seen the yields dip below 1.5% on the 10-year treasuries for the first time in like forever.
Wow.
So the yield is below 1.5%. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the yields of the 10-year treasuries if you're thinking about refinancing or if you're curious as to what's happening in the market and how rates are trending. Watch that. That's a great indicator. Very good indicator. Yeah, I heard something on to our next story. I heard something in the market last week out of this robo-signing settlement.
Right.
So to get you folks, if you haven't heard about robo signing, it wasn't Robbie the robot that was out there going crazy. Robo signing was just people signing. The government got sued, or Fannie and Freddie got sued. 49 states attorneys generals sued, and Bank of America, Wells, Citi, Chase, and GMAC, formerly GMAC, now Ally Bank, were 5 of the lenders that were sued as part of this lawsuit. That I've heard that Bank of America and Chase are going to stop. Now, this is just a rumble, but they're going to stop all foreclosure activity in California. Interesting.
That is interesting.
When that's going to happen, how is it verified? No, it's not.
Right.
But this is a rumbling that I've heard. Well, here's the piece of information that I can see that was really interesting, because Governor Brown signed the California Homeowner Bill of Rights into law recently. And the Homeowner Bill of Rights is really intended to keep Californians in their homes. And the law aims to avoid foreclosure where possible, to help stabilize California's housing market and to prevent the other negative effects of foreclosures on families, communities, as well as the economy. Well, you know why you might hear grumblings about Bank of America and Chase, because you've got another hurdle for them to have to keep in mind. Hey, we've got to pay attention here. If they are scrutinizing us as it is, as part of this settlement of this lawsuit, we need to do everything we can to inch things upstream and start looking at short sales, because that's what I've heard is they're going to push, because they're stopping foreclosure activity is one piece.
Right.
Focusing on short sales is the other piece of the puzzle, and that's what they're going to do. Now, as you and I have talked on past shows, servicers net way more money on a short sale than allowing a property to go to foreclosure.
Right.
It's a non-performing asset that doesn't perform. Well, you keep those folks in there. They're basically the homeowners in the property, hopefully, at least till near the end, able to watch the property, able to be much of a caretaker, so there isn't as much quote-unquote blight or vandalism or destruction to the property.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, you're going to find better shaped properties to go view if they're short sales versus these foreclosures that sit empty.
It's funny how it shows that they show differently when they're not just dismantled, destroyed.
Oh, that's so true.
Every single day. Just this week, Jeff went out to do an inspection on one of our HUD homes, and hey, can you pull? He calls me up and says, hey, can you pull up to see, was the water heater there on our last inspection? I said, yes, it sure was. He goes, well, it's not here today.
Yeah. Police report.
Yeah,
Here we go again.
common thing. Well, this particular law, the California Homeowner Bill of Rights, will take effect January 1 of 2013. Interesting. A lot of things. Not only is this an election year, not only are we facing the fiscal cliff of the Bush-era tax cuts expiring at the end of the year, here is another piece to the puzzle. Yeah. And in California, again, folks, we're witnessing history every single day. Don't think past performance is no guarantee of future results in this particular market.
Not.
That is for sure. Also, another interesting law that came from the California Association of Realtors was a new anti-deficiency protection for refinance loans made after January 1st, 2013. Prior legislation did not cover you for any sort of deficiency in California if you had refinanced.
Is this like gap insurance?
It is. It is now.
I mean, when I bought my last car, they offered me gap. It was a Toyota, and they offered me gap because Toyota was having some scrutiny at that moment.
Just a little.
Just in case.
A little bad press, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, this particular law, which goes into effect again January 1st, 2013, only applies to refinance loans or other credit transactions used to refinance a purchase money loan or subsequent refinances of a purchase money loan that are executed on or after January 1st, 2013. So, protection for homeowners. It all boils down to...
Is that protection for homeowners?
Yeah, something like that.
Gap insurance for homeowners. Nice.
Pretty interesting. Again, every single day.
Okay, but on that note, I would just like to say you cannot fix stupid.
Good point.
I'm just saying. We cannot make the world a perfect place. People still have to do their part. But so you have to make wise choices and wise decisions in...
We are the captains of our own proverbial ships.
Exactly. So I don't care how many laws they want to put into effect, and I don't care how much legislation comes down.
Can't fix stupid.
Can't fix stupid.
Yep.
You got to do the right thing. You got to get your information and do your research and make decisions based on
and be
information.
Responsible.
Correct.
At all costs.
Correct.
And in today's in today's market, there's more opportunities for folks to be irresponsible, unfortunately.
It is what it is.
Well, after the break, let me tell you, we are going to take a look at some of the, we're actually going to take a look at what to expecting when you're expecting to close an escrow in 30 days. Again, if you have any real estate or real estate related questions, or mortgage related questions, or questions regarding the information that you hear on our show, call us anytime on our off-air number at 800-979-3958. We'd so love to hear from you. You can also check out our resources online. And Michelle, we've gotten a lot of traction with the website. Oh my gosh. So many folks, if you go to our website, REO-FresnoHomes.com, you go to the right-hand side of the website. You can either, at the top of the website, you can listen to shows. On the right-hand side of the website, it says, Craig, help me with. And there is a complete list, whether it's refinancing, whether it's you're considering filing bankruptcy, whatever it is. Give us a shout, because we've got professionals, as we always ask, who's on your team to help you through the process. Again, go to our website, REOFresnoHomes.com. To friend us on Facebook, use press4 keyword.
Friend Valley White on Facebook.
Or use press4 keyword.
KMJ, call Valley White.
To call us, Michelle and I, anytime. We'd so love to hear from you. Again, after the break, we are going to talk about what to expect if you're a buyer when you're expecting to close an escrow in 30 days. You're not going to want to miss this. This is going to be good. You're listening to the Real Estate Radio Network here on 105.9, the FM KMJ.
This program is brought to you by the Real Estate Radio Network. Visit realestateradio.us for more info. That's realestateradio.us.
Thinking about buying a home? Find out how the HUD Home Store can help you. Visit HUDHomestore.com. Look at HUD homes available for sale near you or nationwide. Why HUD Home Store? HUD will pay up to 3% of the buyer's closing cost. The price of the home is based on an FHA as-is appraisal, which is already completed, saving you an average of $400. And there is an owner-occupant priority bidding period during the first 30 days. Want to know more? Visit HUDHomestore.com.
All it takes is one call to the professionals at Valley White Homes, and you'll start building wealth in real estate. Whether you're looking for your first home, moving up, or your next income-producing investment property, let the experts at Valley White Homes help. There's never been a better time to get into the real estate market. Visit our website at REOFresnoHomes.com or call toll-free 800-979-3958. That's 800-979-3958. And put the seasoned professionals of Valley White Homes to work for you.
You're listening to Real Estate Radio Network with local expert Craig Barton. Now, here's Craig.
Michelle, what do you expect when you're expecting to close an escrow in 30 days?
When I'm expecting to close an escrow in 30 days, I'm expecting to pay some bills because I'm an agent. However, my clients...
You're solely focused on that check. Is that what the case is?
Well, no, but at the same time, that is how we make a living.
Oh, okay.
Or we attempt to, at least. Nonetheless, no, I mean, we're talking about clients. The client expects that from the time they sign that piece of paper, 30 days is just going to... And they're going to be moving the truck in the driveway. It doesn't work that way right now.
Yeah. Well,
I think it's evolving, though.
I do. And I think it's a valid question, or it's a valid topic to talk about, especially on today's show, because in today's market, really do agents do a great job of setting expectations. I think my job, our job collectively, is to set great expectations as far as a client's concerned. We can't cover everything. And I say that because as hard as I try, and as much as I want to be all comprehensive as far as the process is concerned and making sure that I really do a great job of answering the question before it's asked, I'm going to miss something. But if you put your best foot forward, I really do believe that that is half the battle, because expecting what the process is going to look like in today's market, well, in any market, but especially in an ultra competitive market like we live in right at the moment.
Right.
Really important. You've got to be armed with every bit of information that you possibly can. In Fresno County, in today's market, we've got 1,300 and roughly 30 active listings. And I joked last week and said, we've got 7 houses on the market, and you put, or 5 houses on the market, and you put 7 offers on each of them. Right. It's important that we make sure that buyers understand that is it a buyer's market or is it a seller's market?
It's a seller's market.
It is a seller's market. Simple economics mean, I always use the toilet paper analogy. If there are 2 rolls of toilet paper in Fresno County, let me tell you, somebody's paying a premium for each and every sheet, right?
They are.
Because everybody's got to.
Yeah, we're not sharing, that's for sure.
And one use. Right.
And you know what? It all goes back to how many people and variables are involved in each of these transactions.
Well, this is a multi-dimensional transaction.
I mean, I'm just thinking right here and jotting some notes. Okay, we've got our agents. We've got our buyer.
Yep.
We've got our sellers.
Yep.
We've got our appraisers.
Yep.
We've got our title folks.
Yep.
We've got our notary who's going to handle signing everything. We have our bank. Not even counting. That isn't even counting our pest inspectors, roof inspectors, home inspectors, and anybody else we might need to have involved. So when a client has a perception that we're going to be able to control that transaction, every bit and piece of it, we're going to maintain and we're going to corral everything and we're going to monitor everything.
Do the
that's
very
our
best
job.
that we can.
Correct. But as far as controlling the time frames for all of those folks, it's tricky.
To set the wrong expectation that you as an agent are going to corral everybody and everything is going to, quote unquote, fire at exactly that time is somewhat unrealistic. To set the expectation that you're going to do your best to get everyone to do what they need
perform,
to do in a time
and monitor everyone to keep it moving forward. And I think that's the kicker right there, is to keep them aware as well as things change and alter. But I noticed, in fact, when I was writing a contract this week, I was kind of giggling when I saw escrow will close in 30 days or check the box and you can put anything you want. And I'm thinking they still have 30 days on that darn thing. Right. I mean, generally, even cash transactions in some cases are taking 30 days.
30 days. Right. Sure.
So I find it really I found it kind of cute and kind of like childish and innocent from back in the day, I guess.
When a buyer submits an offer and it's all cash and says 10-day close, no contingencies, what do you think?
I think my title officer's going to go, really? Are they smoking something? This is a bank-owned property. Are they smoking something?
And this is not us pushing back. This is us
reality
helping to give a really good reality check as far as the market's concerned. First and foremost, there's a lot of upward pressure on prices in Fresno County right at the moment, which means that buyers are going to be forced. Buyers, save your money. If you don't have money, you better start saving your money. Buyers, save your money. Number one as an agent, under-promise and over-produce. As a 10,000-foot view, I think that's the best thing that you can say in any transaction in terms of how you carry yourself.
And that's hard to do. Well, it's I'm not perfect, and I will be the first to say it's hard.
You are perfect in my eyes.
Well, thanks, boss. But honestly, no, that's a hard thing to do because we want to meet everyone's expectations. Well, and you got to hold back because you can't always.
I totally understand.
Got to
be real. I totally understand that. I do agree. We all want to be pleasers. However, it is incumbent upon us to make sure that we do set realistic expectations and under promise and over promise. And that might mean something. That might mean something different to every real estate professional out there. Agents and loan officers. Okay, really, really important. I say this because I'm a real estate broker as well as Valley White has a mortgage division. Really, really important that agents show lenders a tremendous amount of respect and lenders show agents, they reciprocate as far as that respect's concerned. Because let me tell you, and I've said this before and I'll continue to say this until they dig the hole and they put me in a box and they start throwing dirt on top.
Well, that's not happening anytime soon.
Thank you. I'm glad to hear that you're in control of that.
Yeah. Do my best.
Atta girl. It's extremely important that every agent understand that unless your buyer is paying cash, you need a lender. And you need to make sure that you show respect to that lender and vice versa.
Correct.
You get what you get and you don't throw a fit, but what bounces off me sticks to you like glue. And let me tell you, if you're, a raging crazy person, you're going to get the same type of treatment back. It's so important that you respect the people that you work with. And I can't say that enough because I've seen some agents in our industry that do act kind of like raging crazy people and don't treat people with respect. And all they do is they want to throw their weight around, and they're not humble, and that irks me.
Well, and I think it's really a group endeavor. I was talking to an appraiser friend of mine.
Who's on your team? Yeah.
I have a whole team. Okay. Talking to an appraiser, and they were complaining about an agent and this and that and the other. And I was just like laughing. And their complaint was valid.
Yeah.
At the same time, I laughed and I told them agents have to do generalized comping. Be aware, we're not trying to do your job.
Yeah.
We don't expect you to do ours.
I'm not an appraiser.
Exactly. But it's one of those things where everybody we're corralling as far as title and appraisers and banks and all those inspectors. I mean, really, every one of them is necessary for the transaction.
And integral.
Exactly.
Very
and so
integral.
I think it's really, really important that there is that level of respect amongst the professionals involved with the transactions.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I can't say that enough. Getting pre-approved as a buyer, first thing that you want to do, I had another call late yesterday, Saturday afternoon, and the gal wanted to see one of our HUD properties. And I said, well, first of all, are you working with another agent? Don't want to step on anyone's toes because I want to make sure that we keep fostering that relationship. Maybe I can help that agent show you that HUD home. No, not working with another agent. Have you been pre-approved? No, I haven't been pre-approved. Okay, well, the first thing, before we meet you out and start showing you something you may not be able to qualify for, we need to get you pre-approved. Some agents will actually meet, and I know you and I both, will meet a client out of the property that may not have been pre-approved because it's the opportunity to, based upon the conversation, kind of develop a little trust and rapport as far as the buyer's concerned. And after that, then you start working in terms of.
Then you start dating.
No, God, no. You invite them to the family reunion.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to be together a while.
You know this.
Well, and I think it's important, though. I mean, let's be honest. If you're a lender and you get a call, or you're an agent and you get a call from that client or potential client, and they aren't pre-approved, how many of us have been warned with fraud and Social Security numbers and internet scams?
In today's market.
I mean, you don't just go, hey, I need you to give me your social, your income, your date of birth, your blood size, blood type, shoe size. I mean, people are cautious.
Sure.
So we do try to be mindful of that a little bit. So there are once in a while where I will go out. Otherwise, I want that letter in their hand.
Sure. Get pre-approved so you can shop with confidence. Next thing is find a trusted local real estate professional. Your most important ally. Your most important ally, because they are going to help hopefully educate you on the most efficient way so that you can really monopolize your search and see the most properties. The last thing you want to do is pick 25 properties, let's just say, and 20 of them
or backup.
20 of them, they already have offers. They just haven't changed the status to pending yet. Or backup.
Right. And it happens.
Yeah, extremely, extremely important that they're efficient with your time and vice versa. Home shopping is hard work. And let me just say this. You find a home. You drive the property. Your agent should then comp the property. The reason why you drive the property is you want to see the neighborhood. The photo looks great. And let me tell you, there's some agents that do a great job, or sellers that do a great job of photographing their homes. Very flattering. They water down the sidewalks. They water down the driveway. Really, they took photos at dusk. Yeah, looks really, really nice. But you've got to see the neighborhood, because that stellar property may not necessarily be located in exactly the place that you want to live. Once your agent comps the property, that helps you give an idea. Is it a realistic asking price? Then you submit your offer, and then I have in my notes here, and repeat. Find, drive, comp, submit, and
I like that.
Repeat.
Yeah, there's a little bit of a repetition right now.
Yeah, it's extremely important to note as well is that submitting an offer, when you submit an offer as a selling agent, not all sellers are created equal. If you're a buyer, not all sellers are created equal. The process is different, the paperwork's different. Submitting an offer online, when I say not all sellers are created equal, not all processes are identical. So it's important.
Well, how many times do we turn around and we're in the middle of creating an offer for a client, and suddenly we've got 15 new forms that we've never seen before that the bank's thrown at us or someone has thrown at us to say, oh, these need to go too.
Yeah.
Okay, well, so now we have to study real quick and see if there's anything that concerns us before our clients.
Where do we fit this one in
Exactly. It's evolving. It's ever evolving.
You need to be patient. I can't, and we're going to say this more than a couple times throughout this conversation. The next best home is the next best home. And you've got to continually check in with your buyers. The next best home is the next best home, because trust me, you'll see a house today. Maybe you submit an offer. Maybe they accepted another offer, and now you've got to go back to the process of back to looking again. And the unfortunate thing is, my wife was so dead set on that particular property. I'm just going to tell you, next best home is the next best home, meaning that there's a light at the end of the tunnel, but you've got to be diligent and persistent as far as your search is concerned.
Well, and I think, I have the methodology, as do I share with my clients. Things happen for a reason, and if you're not meant to have that home, then it's not going to happen. And in some cases, that's just the way it works out. If we're going to be backup, we're going to be backup, and that's okay.
Yeah, but being backup is not necessarily a great position to be in.
No, it isn't. But I will tell you, one of my backups went into escrow, and we're moving right along. So, just yesterday, so that's why it's top of mind. But, they do happen, and I want people to be assured there are more homes, and the process is what it is. And don't get impatient to the point where you lose trust in your agent or lose trust in the people around you trying to help you, because really that will get you in over your head on a property that you'll pay too much for.
Well, and also the expectation is unrealistic as far as that existing agent that you're working with. So many times, we were just talking on the show, 5 or 6 weeks back with Sal Hernandez from Valley White Homes, and Sal said, this had a client called him up and say, hey, I don't know that my agent's working for me the way I think he should be. And this was a very well-known agent here in the Fresno Association. And Sal said, hold on, stop. What's your expectation as far as why he isn't doing his job? And it was basically the lack of success that they were experiencing as far as finding a home, submitting offers, not getting offers accepted. Well, here's the deal. That might be you. That might be the buyer's issue, because I've got a buyer that I'm working with right at the moment, and sometimes it's difficult to get them to understand that, they think they can lowball things a lot. And it doesn't work in today's market.
It doesn't.
It really doesn't. And if there's frustration, I hate to say it, but it's my responsibility. They may be causing
their own frustration.
Exactly. They may be causing some of their own.
We're not going to force you to put a price on a property. No. We're going to educate you and inform you, and at the end of the day, it's still that client's choice as to how they're going to move forward.
But in order to be efficient with our time, we're going to make recommendations as far as what to do and what not to do, most definitely.
Sure.
Once your offer is accepted, what happens next? Well, you open escrow, and then you have, depending upon the contract, if it's a standard CAR, California Association of Realtors contract, you typically have 17 days from acceptance to complete all your inspections: home inspection, termite report, roof inspection, well, septic, whatever is necessary on that particular property.
And some institutions are as low as 10 days. So you better be jumping. You're hopping. We're all hopping at that point.
10 days, 7 days, pick your poison.
Get the water on.
Everything can be negotiated and is oftentimes negotiated. Update your loan file. It's extremely important. Once that offer gets accepted, you've got to update your loan file, because maybe it's been a while since you've spoken with your loan officer, and you've got to make sure that everything is updated. Obviously, you let them know, hey, we're in contract now. They're going to tell you that you need to get your loan file updated. You need to sign application and your disclosures. You can't sign application and disclosures on your loan until you have collateral. In other words, until you're in contract. The loan then gets submitted to the lender. The appraisal is ordered. And again, you talked about earlier, those turn times vary depending upon how busy those appraisers are. It could take 10 to 14 days to get an appraisal.
Okay, so stop right there.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking. We just said there were 10 to 17 days, somewhere in there, depending on who you're contracting with.
Yeah.
For inspections.
Yep.
And it takes...
And an appraisal is an inspection.
Yeah. Well, it takes darn near most of those to get a lot of those done. Then you have 10 to 14 days for the appraisal to be done.
Yeah.
So you're already potentially at
your
2 weeks.
Your appraisal
minimum.
Could come in. When we order an appraisal, we have no control over the appraiser in terms of how busy they are. If it does take them, and they won't be able to tell you, the appraisal management company that all appraisals are ordered through, depending upon the lender that the file is going through, will tell you the anticipated receipt date is X, but that doesn't mean that it's going to get there in 7 days. Right. It might get there in 9 days.
Right.
So you're exactly right. An appraisal being an inspection, you can push, but there's no guarantees.
Right. So we're already halfway through the month.
Yeah.
At least.
That 30-day escrow.
At 30-day
Easily.
escrow.
Easily.
By the time the appraisal gets back. At least over halfway.
And the file's been submitted to the lender in the interim and goes to underwriting. There's a couple wholesale lenders that I know of right at the moment. They're almost 30 days. They're
Just to underwrite the file?
And that's business. They're about 25 business days.
Wow.
Just to underwrite the file. Well, once you wait that time and you get your loan approved, the appraisal
Once
review.
you wait 25 days.
Yeah, and the appraisal's in. And is there an appraisal review required? And sometimes it's just an automated review or a desk review, or sometimes it's an enhanced desk review, or sometimes it's an actual, we have to send an appraiser out to do a whole brand new appraisal. And that takes additional time. Next thing is, are there any lender required repairs? Who knows? Depends upon what the appraiser calls.
Right.
You gather all prior to doc conditions, prior to getting your actual loan docs drawn. You submit them for review from the underwriter, and hopefully within 3, 4, 5 days, you actually go to loan docs. So the way it stands right at the moment, we're far in excess of 30 days.
Absolutely.
If there is an out-of-town escrow company, if you're buying a Fannie Mae property and it's Old Republic.
You didn't hear me sigh or anything.
No.
I'm sorry.
No, not at all. There can be additional delays.
But they can make our job so much easier, Craig.
Oh, most definitely. Well, yeah. Signing loan docs and bringing your funds to escrow is the next step. You will get with your agent also, and you'll do what's called a final walkthrough to make sure that that property is in the condition that you expect it to be in when you close escrow, and that there's no water heater missing.
Yeah,
as an
exactly.
example. Yeah. Again, not all transactions are created equal.
Well, there's so many steps, and any little hiccup in any one of those steps prolongs everybody else's involvement. We all just have to stop and wait.
And
it's a hurry to wait on every, hurry, wait,
up,
hurry,
and wait
on every level. And I think that's one of the things that you do have to educate your clients about. If this goes well, then we go to the next step, and if that goes well, then we go to the next step. And it is education.
And that's why it's so important to reiterate, to have patience. Patience is the quality that everyone can push. But here's the deal. Not everyone's in control. You got to give it up. You just got to give it up and let it happen when it's supposed to happen. And don't stop treating people with respect and kindness in the process, because everyone, hopefully, on your team is pushing to help get you across the finish line as quickly as possible.
Right. We all want to see keys in your hand.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's take a look at some Real Estate Radio Network listener questions. Great questions. This first one says, help, Real Estate Radio Network. My husband and I want to sell our home. However, there are a lot of foreclosures in our neighborhood. When we decide to list our home, do we have to compare our home to the foreclosures and the short sales when we determine a price with our listing agent? Frustrated in Fountain Valley. No, just kidding.
We're naming them now. I like that.
Yeah. No, frustrated in Fowler. Sorry. So, Michelle, what do you think?
Well,
do you have
about Fowler?
No, not about Fowler.
Fowler's not going to pertain to this question.
Not about being frustrated in Fowler. Fowler's its own little market.
Yes, you do. Unfortunately for you, the market is what it is, and our comparable properties are our comparable properties.
Yep.
The most recent sales in your area is what we're going to be looking at.
Yep. Condition, if your particular property has granite countertops, is in great condition, that is going to most definitely help the marketability of your property. You may get an adjustment in terms of condition. It's not going to be sizable.
Right.
I mean, it could be decent, but it's not going to be sizable. But most definitely, your home is going to be compared to every other property every other property that's sold within the last 90 days, whether it's a foreclosure, a short sale, or a traditional sale.
And I'm sorry their grass is yellow and dead, and yours is green and beautiful.
Yep.
It is what it is.
It sure is.
So.
Next question. How do I find out whose name is on title on property? Well,
why are you wanting to know? That's my first question. We have, every property owner, whether it's a corporation or an individual, that is all public record.
Yep.
So it is available to the public. But I guess my question would be, why would they want to know?
Well,
did we ask that part?
No, we didn't ask
that part. I'm nosy.
I'm
I'd like to know what they seem a little schemy.
A little schemy.
Yeah, that's your one listener, I think. The 11 million are
It's the one that asked
questions.
if he could sell the house without his wife knowing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But no, it is a matter of public record. So if you want to know who's on title, call me. I want to know why, though.
Yeah, let me
Because I don't generally share that just to share that.
Right. Next question. My wife and I are renting in Madera and currently paying about $1,100 a month for rent. We can afford about $1,200 for a housing payment. How much home can we buy for $1,200 per month? Well, interestingly enough, if you used FHA financing in today's market, and this was this was a phone call generated from the show, and the gal called me and said, hey, we'd like to know how much home we could buy in today's market.
Right.
Well, a $1,200 per month, PITI, including MI, and that's principal and interest, taxes, insurances, including MI on an FHA loan with 3.5% down, would translate to $170,000 purchase price.
Wow.
And in today's market, depending upon where you're buying, depending upon the location.
That's a good price range.
Let me tell you.
For first-timer,
you
that's
can
a really
buy
great price
a
range.
lot of home. And especially in Madera, where they're living, you can get a mansion. Actually, just got an offer accepted this week. Seriously, 2,800 square feet, $170,000.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is a
and
great
the home
price.
was 3 or 4 years old. Well, if you have questions for the Real Estate Radio Network and you'd love to ask Michelle or myself, you can use Press 4 keyword
KMJ comment line.
and let us know what your questions are that we can help you with. Or you can call our offer number at 800-979-3958. And hopefully you'll hear your question next week on the show. Again, if you have any real estate or mortgage-related questions, give us a call anytime on our off-air number at 800-979-3958. You can also check out our resources online at reofresnohomes.com or use Press 4 keyword KMJ call Valleywide to get connected to us anytime. Well, big thank you to Michelle Pettis-Cavalli, my special guest host, for joining us in the studio today. Michelle, you rock.
Thanks, friend.
Great
I love
job,
being
kid.
here. Thanks for having me.
Keep coming back. A big thank you to Johnny B behind the mics. Johnny, great job, buddy. You always make us sound so good. Again, our goal at the Real Estate Radio Network is to get you, our listeners, the timely and accurate truth about your local real estate market so we can help bring you back home. Don't forget to tune into the Real Estate Radio Network next Sunday at 7 a.m. right here on 105.9, the FM KMJ. Make it a great day, Central Valley, and we will see you next week.
The preceding program was paid for by the Real Estate Radio Network.